Hi, everybody. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, and I would like to welcome you to tonight's Small Biz Chat Live. Now, we have an amazing show for you tonight. For more than 10 and a half years, I have been hosting Small Biz Chat every Wednesday night live on Twitter, but once a month, we bring it to you as a live video show. And tonight, I have three amazing experts who are going to work with us to fulfill my mission to end small business failure. Now, you guys know that the whole reason why we started Small Biz Chat is to create a peer-to-peer opportunity for you to get business advice that you don't have to pay for, but that you definitely need. Now, normally we're live on Twitter, but tonight we're not. We are going live from my Small Biz Lady Facebook page. We are live on YouTube, and we are also live on Twitter. Y'all know I can't forget my Twitter peeps. I love y'all. So listen, our goal tonight is to give you small business advice so that you can take your business to the next level. But we're going to give it to you from multiple angles. So let me tell you a little bit about tonight's guest. So we're going to be talking to you about how to build your business without sacrificing your family or your health. We're also going to talk about how to scale your business and cover yourself legally. And lastly, we're going to talk to you about market domination strategies. Now, listen, we're very close to 2020. Now is the time for you to start planning. And so that's why I put together this show tonight, to give you everything you need so that you can build a smart plan going into 2020. And with that, I would love to introduce my very first guest, entrepreneur David Finkel. Now, he is the CEO of the Maui Mastermind, one of the world's premier business coaching companies, and he's worked with over 100,000 business leaders, helping them grow their companies. And what he likes to say is that he helps his business coaches, or the people that he coaches, grow their revenue 5 times higher than the average privately held company. Well, now, if that's not a result statement, I don't really know what is. He's written over 11 books. Many of them are Wall Street Journal bestsellers. And his latest book, he's going to be talking to us tonight, is called The Freedom Formula. And if you guys leave us a comment, ask us a question, you're going to have the opportunity to win one of these books, because we're going to give away 3 books tonight. So pay attention, leave a comment, and you never know, because y'all know I love to give away free stuff. So pay attention, because you're going to have the opportunity to grab one of these great books. So now, with that, David, welcome to Small Biz Chat Live.
Thank you so much, Melinda. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, listen, I always love to have a chance to speak with you. All right, so let's get down to it. Everyone talks about needing to work smarter, not harder. But how do we do that in the face of all the stuff that's coming at us? You know, as a small business owner, I got 10 full-time jobs, David. So tell me, how in the world can I, email, staff challenges, customer fires? You help me. I want to sit at the foot of the master tonight and learn, how is it that I can work harder and not smarter and not harder in my business?
Yeah. Well, first of all, the first thing I'm going to say is it's not about more. We all have this misnomer that I work more hours, I work longer hours, I work nights and weekends, I'm going to be successful. And we're inculcated it. I call that the time and effort economy. We don't get paid for hours. We don't get paid for effort. We don't get paid for attitude. We get paid for the results that we generate. So we need time, but we need a special kind of time. We need some of our best attention carved out in blocks. So the first thing I would share is we call it our buffet strategy. And so I love a good buffet. And so when I go to a buffet, the most important plate of food in a buffet is your first plate of food. If I have that first plate of food with nutritious vegetables and good quality proteins, I can eat all the other junk and still make sure that I partially fill my stomach with the good stuff and I've gotten the nutrition. Well, most of us, Melinda, we're filling our business day with junk. We're working hard, we're working long, but we're putting all the good stuff in the remnant slivers of time, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. So the first thing I would say to anyone who's watching this is carve out what I would call a focus day. Now, a focus day could be even just a 2-hour block, 1 day a week that you put as a recurring calendar appointment. And just by doing that, you have 2 hours every week, 3 hours if you can squeeze it in, 1 day a week that you blocked off to do your high value activities in your best time. Eventually, you'll grow that where you might do that 2 or 3 days a week. Think about that for a moment. You know that every week I have a 2-3 hour block. And then on my other days, we call those push days. I'm just pushing the things forward that I'm working on, taking care of the function of my job. I can still give myself a 1 hour block, a 1 hour block. And I might only carve out 5 or 6 hours over an entire 40 or 50 hour week, but that represents a full 6 to 12 weeks of my very best time focused on the most important things. And I still have all this other white space, open space, clear space to do stuff. And most of us don't do that. What we do is we get into the mode of, I'm working really hard, jumping from email to conversation to meeting. And it just is the wrong way to do that. We need to batch and collect and pull away some of our best time to give in an uninterrupted block to our most valuable stuff.
Okay, so I need you to drill that down for me again, because I heard what you said. You said,
Yeah.
I need to set aside 2 to 3 hours of time. Am I doing that every day?
Great question.
I'm not really super
Yeah.
clear.
So I'm going to start with, like, I was talking with a client earlier today, and one of her challenges has always been time. She runs an online retail business and also sells gift products in Hawaii all throughout the chain there. So for her, she might choose one day a week, Tuesday, from 8:30 in the morning till 10:30, just a 2 hour block once a week. She puts it in her calendar as a recurring appointment, whether I use Google or whether I use Outlook or whatever calendar program. So it happens and it's blocked off. That's my focus day. Later on, I might build a second day or a third day, but I start with just one. If I do nothing else out of this conversation, and I did just that, I can count on 8 hours per month of my very best time focused on those things that I know I should be doing that matter, that would progress my company. But in the past, I let get crowded out by all the other junk that just overwhelms me. So that would be the first thing to do. The second thing would be on those other days, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, depending which day I choose for my focus day. I call that a push day. I'm just pushing things one step further ahead. I can still carve out 1 hour on those days. I'll take the other 7 or 8 that I work to do time however I want to. It's like that first plate of food at the buffet, that 1 hour chunk of time or that 2 hour chunk of time. I'm going to fill it with the most nutritious business activities, the things that actually make a difference. And if I do just that, that's such a simple, easy thing to do. I'm going to see a real lift to my results. We've watched it with hundreds of clients doing the same thing.
All right, so I know that you briefly talked before about this time effort economy. What are the 5 chains that hold people back in the time effort economy?
That's a great question. So the first one is actually a medical condition. It's called control-itis. It's the inflammation of your control gland. And I don't know about you, Melinda, I suffered from it. Well, I mean, I had a control gland that wouldn't let go of anything. You can
Sure.
ask my kids, you can ask my wife, you can ask any of my team members. And we got an amazing piece of advice. One of my business mentors, her name is Stephanie Harkness. She's actually my co-author for one of my books, Build a Business, Not a Job. And she had built and sold a massive manufacturing company, former president of the national, or chairwoman of the National Association of Manufacturers. Incredible woman. She said, David, I want you to grab an index card. So I did. I grabbed a 3x5 index card. She said, write the following statement on there. And I wrote it down, and it changed my business life. I wrote down, I don't know. What do you think we should do? And she had me, every time a staff member would come to me with a question, she said, before you reflexively solve their problem, I want you to just pause, pull out your index card, and ask, I don't know, Sarah, what do you think we should do here? And on the flip side, I learned to add one more question. If it were totally up to you, what would you do here? And the interesting thing is, probably depending on the staff member, 50% of the time, 80% of the time, 90% of the time, their choice is a good choice. And so
Right.
when it is, I just simply say, you know what, that sounds great. Why don't you go ahead and make that happen? Two things happen. Number one, they're empowered. Number two, I'm training them over time not to come to me with lots of stuff.
Right.
And times they come up with a crazy idea. I ask them, well, why do you think that's the right choice? And if you couldn't do that, what else could you do? So
Right.
that's one of them. Another one is a lack of strategic depth. That if they look at their business, what happens is they're the main person. And if they're not there to do something, they're in a world of hurt, or they might have one or two key people. So strategic depth, we talk about in chapter 4, the Freedom Formula says, I want to have the systems, the cross-trained team, and the culture that says we back each other up. And I can build that slowly over time so that Linda's not the only person in my company who can do X. There's a second person, there's some documentation about it. And when I do that and have a culture that says that's how we do it, that's how I can sustain these gains over time.
And I love that, because that's like the don't be the mama, right? Don't be in your business thinking for everybody.
Yeah.
So I actually teach people the exact same thing. Now, do you have one or two more you can share with us?
Yeah. So another one would be an outdated time habits. For example, we grew up in a world where time was something that we did get paid for time. We thought, anyways. But now with ubiquitous, internet everywhere, smartphones chasing us down with feeds about, my Slack channel for my staff asking questions, WhatsApp messages, 1,000 emails a week. Our sense of how we have a model of how time work hasn't changed. We haven't built the buffers or filters. So I'll give you one more example. We call this the needle in the haystack. So Andrea, who I was mentioning to you before, she used to be like on top of her inbox. I would probably tell you 18 hours a day. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she woke up in the middle of the night checking it. That's how on top she was. She was terrified that she would miss an email that would be from a major customer or a key supplier. And I asked her one day, I said, Andrea, how often is there really a critical email? Out of how many emails before there's that one? She said, well, probably 1 in 5,000. I said, you're killing your quality of life for that 1 in 5,000. What if we design this better? Rather than having people deliver that emergency message to your inbox, what if you gave them a different way for them to get you in that 1 in 5,000 situation? Some companies we work with have created a hotline of a cell phone that gets transferred around or forwarded to different people. Others have used WhatsApp or something, but a different channel away from email, so that you don't feel like I have to always be checking during family dinners, during my kids' play, during our vacation. I've got to create better filters, and that's an example for it.
Great, great. So how do you get free? I mean, like you do a good job of showing us the bad stuff we're doing, but how do you break free from this?
Yeah, so it's incremental, and I'll give a quick example about that. If I start carving out even just that focus day, let's say I take a 3-hour block once per week on Tuesday, and I start asking for myself this week, what's the most important big rock that I can fill into that 2 or 3 hour block? Most of us have a to-do list and it goes down multiple pages if it's on paper, or multiple flicks if it's on computer on our phone. And it's overwhelming. So at the beginning of the week, take your to-do list and pull off the 1 or 2 big rock.
David, I think we have had some frozen internet. Well, that's okay. You know what? We're going to go to a commercial break. And when we come right back, we're going to get a little bit more from David about how you can get free from your business and actually enjoy your business and a little bit more of your life. I'm Melinda Emerson, and you are watching Small Biz Chat Live, and we will be right back.
Hi, I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady. I know you might be thinking about quitting your business and going back into corporate America, but wait, before you give up, my new book, Fix Your Business, could give you a whole new lease on life. My 12 P's of running a successful business will walk you through step by step how to grow your business revenue, how to hire great people and streamline your processes, and so much more. Grab a copy today of Fix Your Business and get your life back.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Small Biz Chat Live. We were just talking with David Finkel from his book, The Freedom Formula. And don't forget, if you are interested in getting a copy of this book, I got 3 of them to give away tonight. All you got to do is leave me a comment on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. Tell me why you like it or ask him a question, and this book could be yours. I think that we have David back. All right, David, let's keep going. I wanted to ask you, you talk about better ways to leverage a personal assistant, better ways of, kind of handling email. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Thanks for putting up. The internet must have died on me for a quick moment there. But I'm going to share 3 for just an assistant side. And these come from chapter 2 of the Freedom Formula. But the first one is, I've been using an assistant now for 24 years. You're going to have different assistants over time. So one of the key functions for your assistant should be for him or her to actually create the system as they go of how to be a great assistant for you. You're not going to have the same assistant for years. If they're really good, you're going to promote them. Like, for example, Teresa, who's my company COO, about 11 or 12 years ago, she started as my assistant, and she was too good to keep as an assistant. Others will leave just because things go on. Second, know yourself. Are you someone who likes to delegate by typing, by using some kind of text, or do you like to do it auditorily? If it's auditorily, my best suggestion, and I found this has saved me hours every week, I don't want to go meet with my assistant. I use a simple app, whether I use WhatsApp to do an audio recording straight to them. I use Voxer, Voxer. And so what it does is it lets me, as a moment strikes, I can just grab my phone, I can press two buttons, I'm recording on there, and then all of a sudden I can just say, hey, Emily, can you please take care of X, Y, and Z? I'm done in 60 seconds. She can listen to it more than once. So when she goes through, I've learned that even if I delegate in person, I need to have her record the sessions because I talk a little bit fast and I want her to go back a second time. If she still has questions, she'll ask me. And the final kind of suggestion I have for the assistant, one list to rule them all. Don't have your assistant manage his or her deliverables in their inbox. Worst thing you can do. Whether you use Asana or a different project management tool, have them put everything that they're doing for you on one growing list. And as long as you see it on there, you start to trust they've got it covered. And that's what lets me not have to micromanage Emily. Although you'd have to ask her if I still do it by those little control glands kind of flare up every now and then. But in general, one list, kind of like if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, one ring to rule them all, one list to rule them all. I'm sorry, I'm a nerd.
That's okay. I mean, I'm a big Game of Thrones fan, so nerds unite. Anyway, so listen, last question I have for you. What are some of the strategies that you can use to sort of like recover from time and attention distractions?
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you that the two big things that have made a real difference, and I've watched it with clients that we have. Number one, they block off some time each day for what they need to do from their business, but also to block off a little bit of time for them personally. Take a walk, have a healthy meal. Some of my clients really believe very strongly, and I enjoy meditation. My wife's into yoga, whatever it might be for you. That's one. Number two, and I think this is really important, you cannot live in the always on world of email. The moment you're in your inbox, I promise you, you're wasting so much other time. So for me, I will oftentimes go work from a different space. Like, for example, you can see my office behind me. There's a couch area back there. I do most of my writing on the couch there. If I'm on my computer where email is, it's really a distraction. Or right next door, I have my conference room. I might go in there. Or I live in a small community called Jackson Hole. I like going to actually hotels, high-end hotels, and going to the lobby. And I don't ask for the internet code. I know that seems crazy. I leave my phone off. And so for a 2 or 3 hour period, I can get a week's worth of value in a 2 or 3 hour period. And it makes all the difference.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm going to ask you one more question. I know I said the last question was the last one, but it's my show. I can change it if I want to. Now, so listen, there are women out here who hear you say, okay, you're a man and you're talking about how to have better work-life balance. Like you got a wife, so it's easier for you to have work-life balance than it is for those of us who are either single parents or, you know, managing children, business, and work. So family, business, and, you know, their life. So talk to me about, is this harder for women to do than it is for men?
Yeah. Well, first of all, most of the things that are there, that's a very fair question. So I would tell you, first of all, I've used the ideas myself, but more importantly, half of our clients, 50% of our clients are women, many of whom are moms, not all, but many of whom are. 70% of our coaches are women, and 80% of my team members, many of whom are moms and single moms, use these ideas and that we work with. So these ideas have been tested in the toughest laboratory of all, the marketplace, and so they work. I get it. Is only a voyeur can get it. I mean, my friend Stephanie, I mentioned the mentor that I had. She'll be the first to say, you know, look, in her life, she's in her 70s, growing up, exceeding exceptionally, and she was on a presidential commission meeting once per quarter on the White House during the Bush administration. I mean, remarkable woman. She'll be the first to say, everything in the business world, you have to be twice as good if you're a woman, and I can't understand that. But these time tactics absolutely work, regardless of which, even understanding that if you're a single parent, let alone a single mom in that world, you're going to have more work on your plate, which makes it even more important for you to do things these ways. If you don't, you're starting with a one pace behind on the race of time management. You really need it even more.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, David, I very much appreciate you being with us tonight. And don't go anywhere because I've got a panel for you at the end of the show. But listen, if you guys want to learn even more about not just work-life balance, but if you're ready to scale your business and you need to make sure you're protected legally, stay with us because up next we're going to be talking with Nina Kaufman Esquire from Ask the Business Lawyer, and she's going to be breaking it down for us what we need to do to grow and be safe at the same time. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, and you are watching Small Biz Chat Live. Stay with us.
My new book, Fix Your Business, is really about encouraging people to take back control of their business and change how their businesses is run. It's not okay to skip paychecks. It's not okay to never feel like you can take a vacation. And it's also not okay to not know how much profit you've made in your business until your taxes are done. I really want business owners to stop letting their businesses be runaway trains. I've written this book to teach people processes and systems to help them run their businesses intentionally. My goal is to help existing entrepreneurs create a business that allows them to live their dream life.
Hi, this is Melinda Emerson, and I am the Small Biz Lady, and you are watching Small Biz Chat Live. Now, I am so excited that we're going to be now talking about the legal side of business with Miss Nina Kaufman Esquire, and she's really going to be talking to us about how to scale your business, but also how to make sure that you follow the legal guidelines so that you don't end up on the wrong side of the law or the IRS, because that's the other people that's like the law, right? So let me tell you a little bit about Nina, who has been a good friend of mine for a long time. She is a small business champion. She's an award-winning attorney, media resource, and the host of the Cash Out Big podcast. The founder of Believe Solo, she works with seasoned owners of knowledge-driven service firms who want outside support to own a business that doesn't own them. She helps her clients discover more fun, flexibility, and reward from running their companies. Nina Kaufman, welcome to Small Biz Chat Live.
Thank you, Melinda. It is so great to see you and to be with you tonight.
Oh, listen, you know, you're one of my faves. When we have some legal issues, we call Miss Nina Kaufman. So listen, all right, so let's talk, like, what are the top legal business mistakes that folks make?
Sure. So let me first put it in context, because usually small business owners go, ugh, when they think about small business issues. And as a leader of a small business, you really have three things you're looking out for. You want to make sure that you're making money, you want to be saving time, and you want to avoid stupid and costly risky mistakes. So I'm here as part of sort of the risk management piece of all of that. So when small business owner, the things that I've seen over 20 years of working with small businesses, I see that in their effort to save money, they rush into things without getting the right sounding board. And that can include, copying contracts from the internet. How many have done that? Just to say, I remember dealing with a client. She pulled off a contract, and in the terms and conditions, it referred to her company as Yahoo. Okay?
Wow.
No, not for her. Another thing is hiring when you're desperate. That is the worst time to be hiring, because you're usually going to make a bad decision with somebody who's not going to be a good fit, and it costs you even more time and money. And the third thing is really rushing into business deals without getting a sounding board. So often business owners are like, ka-ching, I want to see the money, or I need the money now, that they're not looking at all of the issues and the what ifs that could derail a deal or maybe make this particular transaction something that's not going to work out for them.
I'm co-signing all of the things you're saying. So let's talk about contracts. Like,
Okay.
you always say that having good contracts is a great way to stay profitable. Tell me.
Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. First of all, it sets out your process, your procedure for how you and your client or your landlord or your business partner, how you're going to work together. And that's really important as a communication tool. So, for example, I had a client who was working with a large company who shall remain nameless, but sometimes you use them to search on the internet. And one of the things that happens when you're working with a company is if they like you, they may ask you to do more. And you find, particularly for a lot of the creative and knowledge professionals I work with, that the scope increases.
Go
You need
creep.
to,
Go.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. You need to set good boundaries around that. So it helps to set the scope of work. It helps you find a way to say, oops, things have really changed since we first signed this, and have a mechanism for making that change to say, whoa, let's stop and reevaluate, because things do change. They don't always proceed on the same linear path that you expect. And the third, and one of the most important pieces, if it's written well, it gives you an opportunity to say, whoa, talk to the hand. You haven't paid me in a really long time. I'm not performing more services, or I'm done until I get paid. But
Right.
when you're in a contract that doesn't let you do that, you run the risk of breaching. And that means you're spending a lot of time and maybe not getting paid, and that erodes your profit margin.
I couldn't agree with you more. So, what are some of the things, the three foundational areas that a solopreneur needs to consider if they want to, start scaling their business?
Sure. And this is something that we talk about in Beyond Solo all the time, that the three areas that keep coming up over and over are, am I choosing the right clients? How do I assemble a good team? And how do I stop making my world crazy? And David would probably echo this as well, is that for so many solo business owners, their business is in their head. And if it's in your head, you can't train anyone else to do it. You can't delegate it. You can't really evaluate, is this the best way to do it? Which means you could be wasting a lot of time not focusing on the most profitable areas of time, as David mentioned earlier. And so, as I say, those three, looking really carefully at the clients, the team, and your what I would call your playbook.
Okay.
Those are the three most important areas.
All right. So then, how do I go about choosing the right customers?
Oh, well, I'm sure Letitia will have some, some, something to contribute to that as well. But I would say, leaving aside marketing 101, what you really want to have is a vision for your business financially. Like, what do you need to earn after expenses? A lot of business owners will say, well, I'm really passionate about helping people with the issue of, as I've dealt with my clients, I really want to help them achieve their fullest potential. Now that's a beautiful
What
thing.
does that mean? What are they
Yeah,
saying?
hello, right. And whose potential for what, and
Right.
how much are you charging? So it's beautiful to want to be of service. I mean, again, it's all divine creation. I firmly believe is starting a business. But if you don't know what your target market can afford, if you don't know what you need to earn to be profitable, you've got a hobby, you don't have a business. And that's where, if you look at the stats, particularly on solo and non-employer business, the average earnings are $47,000 a year. And that's painful,
That is
knowing all of the
painful.
time they put in.
That is
All of the time they put
painful.
in.
And unfortunately, that's 88% of women-owned businesses
It is.
not doing 100,000 in revenue. And that hurts me to my whole heart.
Mhm.
I feel like I gotta get out here, write some more books or something.
Exactly. And that's where numbers can really be our friends. That's part of what we talk about when I've got my Beyond Solo coaching group, is that when you know your numbers, it's a very objective way of being able to say, you know what? I just can't, as much as I would love to be a good gal,
Yeah.
I just can't discount this fee because you know what? This is going to put me under.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
I,
And when
I
you have that bright line test, it makes it so much easier to negotiate from a place of strength.
Absolutely. So, what about assembling a good team? So now we know what business we're in. We know who our paying customer is. How do I get the right team around me, especially if I can't really afford it?
Right. So that is a great question and one that does come up often. So what I would recommend to small business owners is that I have the sort of an acronym IDEAL, the ideal hiring process. And so again, number one, don't do this when you're desperate. What you want to do is identify what are the areas where either you're not strong, you really suck at it, quite frankly. Can I say that on Facebook Live? Well, I
You
just did.
absolutely can.
So, yeah, you're really not good at this. Again, that's very risky. If you're in the weeds of some aspect of your business like bookkeeping where you're not good at it, that is a huge risk. Also, look at what don't you like doing? Because if you don't like doing, you're really not going to give it 100%.
Mhm.
And for most business owners, it's more of the admin or some of the marketing stuff. They're just not as good at it as they could be. So it's identifying those areas, determining what kind of skills you need to get that job done. So what are what's the background? How senior does somebody need to be? What
Mhm.
are the expectations and the frequency for doing this? I mean, is this regular social media posting or is it a one-off, let's say, content creation?
Mhm.
E is for evaluating the commitment. Like, do you need someone in person or virtual? How much time? And asking consistent questions. This is where business owners will often look at, oh, I really like this person. I like the fact that she's wearing a leather jacket and I want her to be the one.
Right. Yeah.
But you don't always know unless you're asking consistent questions. And the last piece, L, for figuring out that team, we just talked about numbers. It's metrics. How do you want your business to improve with numbers, whether it's time saved, money generated as a result of bringing on this person? Because without that, it just becomes another expense item. So again, looking at all that, it doesn't always have to be a part-time person or even a full-time person. There are so many options now with Fiverr and Upwork and virtual assistants where you can get the help that you need, even if you don't have the budget for a full-time person.
All right. Well, listen, that was so helpful and so on point. I'm going to put a pin in it right there. We're going to go to commercial and we're going to come right back and we're going to talk more with Nina Kaufman, Esquire, and she's going to give us the lowdown on what we need to do to scale our business and protect ourselves legally. This is the Small Biz Chat Live, and we will be right back.
Are you tired of struggling in your business, not taking a paycheck, dreading dealing with your business in the morning? Are you regretting even starting your business in the first place? Well, I know you're tired, and I also remember what that kind of tired is like. But the good news is, it's time to stop feeling that way. Stop! I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady, and my new book, Fix Your Business, is a 90-day turnaround plan to get back your life and reduce chaos in your business. I've been in business nearly 20 years, and let me teach you how to build a business that works for you. Grab a copy today.
Welcome back to Small Biz Chat Live. I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady, and we are talking with Nina Kaufman, Esquire, and she's breaking down for us the things we really need to focus on to scale our business and do it in a way that is smart and legal. Now, Nina, we left off talking to you about assembling a good team.
Right.
Now I want to talk to you a little bit about, you say that it's important to develop a playbook for
Oh,
how
yeah.
the business runs. Why is that?
Oh, absolutely. Because if you don't get it out of your head, nobody else can do anything. Then it means that you as the owner are the bottleneck. And that's one of the really great challenges, especially when you're hiring someone. I've had clients who bring someone in, they say, they promised me they had this skill set. They said so on their resume. I hired them and now they stink. They're not doing what I want them to.
Right.
Well, have you given them any training? Have you talked to them about your business culture? Have you talked about what you want to achieve? No, they're just supposed to know it. Now, employees are not mind readers, and virtual assistants are not mind readers. My husband is not my mind reader, though I very much expect him to be. And when that happens, when we expect people to read our minds, it is a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for wasting time, redoing work, again, opening yourself up to risks and wasted money. So that's where, again, what do you want to call it? A playbook, an operations manual, documenting your systems. There are 17 ways to describe it. Short of it is open your cranium and get it out somehow on a page so that somebody else can read it. It's going to save time. It's going to reduce the overwhelm for you once you figure out what the steps are. It's going to make it so much easier to hire and to delegate. And also, something that's not often brought up, it's going to make it so much easier, God forbid anything happens to you, to help your loved ones close everything out. I
Mhm.
had a situation where someone came to me and her father died at his desk of a heart attack, 62 years old. So young guy. I mean,
Wow.
now, young guy. So young guy dies at his desk, no operations manual. The employees are, how am I going to get paid? The vendors want to know what's happening. The customers are freaking out because who's going to be doing their work? And all because there wasn't any easy way for somebody else to step in and take things over. And what happens with that business? It ends up closing because it's a fire sale. Nobody can figure out how to get it to work. So a playbook is also saying, hey, this is the engine of how we earn money here. And if you ever want to sell a business,
Mhm.
it can actually increase the value of that business by up to 50%.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, that is incredibly valuable. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the type of legal agreements that we need to have. So if I'm hiring a freelancer contractor to do something for me, do I need a legal agreement or can we just, get them off of Fiverr and keep it moving? Like, what do I need to do if I'm going to bring somebody into my business to do, sort of like work for hire kind of work for me?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. And again, what you call the agreement, whether it's independent contractor, freelancer, the name of the agreement doesn't matter. It's really more of a substance thing. So when you're hiring people off of Fiverr, usually there is an expectation that they know they're not in your business for a regular period of time. Very often, it's just a one-off piece of work. But you really do need to be careful about bring on people if it's going to be more regular, that you're not getting close to an area where they could be considered a part-time employee. And that's where you want to screen for, do they have other clients they're working for? Are you paying another entity or is it an individual? What happens when the project is done? All of those things. I call it management, managing your roles, money, who gets paid, money generators. Are you protecting your intellectual property, your confidential information, and then moving on? So if it's a longer project and you're not happy, what rights do each of you have to move on and close things out easily? So those things are really, really important to have. The larger the project, the more you really want to make sure that's protected.
Okay. I think that's really, really important as well. And then the last thing I want to ask you about is if you want to take on investors, what do
Mhm.
you need to make sure is in the contract?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I talk about this. I wrote a book called The Entrepreneur's Prenup: How to Choose a Business Partner Who Won't Bleep You. And it looks at, and not just the things that go into a partnership agreement, but all of the communication and the goals and how do you navigate different issues, ethics, things like that, that people don't always think about when they're thinking about a business partner. It's usually, oh, I'm so excited. I found Prince or Princess Charming. Let's go into business together. You're so fabulous. Let's do this.
Right.
So when you're looking at an investor, particularly a financial investor, and if you're dealing with a sophisticated angel or VC investor, that is not an area you want to mess with. Anyone who's going to be a strictly a financial investor and not be part of the roll up the sleeves day to day, you're dealing with securities issues. So you want to be very, very clear that this is documented well. What is the degree of management control they'll take? If you're a control freak, like David pointed out, you really want to be very clear. I had a client who was desperate to bring new people in. Wasn't my issue, but he essentially gave away 2/3 of his company. And guess what happened in less than a year?
They put
Boom.
him
He's
out.
out.
They
He's
put
out.
him out. Of course they do.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
sharks
So
do.
exactly. So how much are you controlling? What percentage of profits are they entitled to? And you want good communication too. You want to know, what are their expectations? Like, what kind of return on investment are they expecting? Can you realistically deliver? Because you don't want to get in a bad situation with your investor. So those are communications issues, as well as understanding the time frame for their exit and what that kind of exit looks like,
Sure.
because all of those affect the kind of strategic planning you're going to do, the kind of profits that you need to see, the kind of services or products that you need to offer. It radically affects how you're going to be growing and running your business. And please, please, please have it in writing, reviewed by an attorney. To go back to the beginning, do not pull this off the internet and just use it.
Right, right. Well, listen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was so helpful about, getting the right team together, making sure you got the right customers. And please, please, please use a lawyer. Do not pull contracts off the internet. That's what the lady said. So listen, we are now going to turn over and talk to our next guest, Miss Lethia Owens. And Lethia is going to be talking to us about market domination. And so stay with us, you guys, because we are going to have an amazing segment coming right up. Stay with us. Hi, everybody. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, and I want to invite you to enter the Small Biz Chat podcast giveaway contest. For the next 30 days, starting today, you'll have the chance to win amazing prizes if you subscribe to the podcast. All you need to do is take a screenshot after you subscribe to the Small Biz Chat podcast and tag me, Small Biz Lady, on Twitter or Instagram. Once a week, I'll select a winner, and you have a chance to win one of my autographed books, Become Your Own Boss in 12 Months, or Fix Your Business, or you might even get a chance to win one of my limited edition Small Biz Chat podcast t-shirts. Don't delay. Subscribe to the Small Biz Chat podcast today. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Small Biz Chat Live. I'm with my next guest. Her name is Lethia Owens, and she is a market domination strategist. And she's also a dear friend of mine for a long time. And she is a best-selling author, a tech CEO, a branding expert, and she is ranked number 8 among the top 30 brand gurus in the world. She is a founder of the Game Changers International. She helps businesses brand their brilliance, monetize their message, and dominate their market. Lethia knows what it takes to be a game changer. Her business strategies challenge business owners to get in the game, because game changers are not spectators. They win championships. Her message of reinvention, courage, and self-empowerment helps business owners live their best life. Welcome, Lethia.
Oh, I am so excited to be here. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Awesome, awesome. So listen, let's jump right in. So tell me, what does it mean to dominate your market?
Oh, wow. I'm glad you asked that, because when we think about marketing today, there are so many different avenues and channels that a business owner can use to market their business. And specifically thinking about small businesses that don't have the same budgets as a Coca-Cola or a Boeing or these big brands, right? What I love about online marketing is that it allows us to get in the game and actually dominate. And when we think about market domination, what I encourage my clients and the people that I work with to do is to really figure out their sliver of the market. Find out what part of the market they want to really go after, and then put together a marketing strategy that allows them to be seen everywhere. So Melinda, you know that I'm ranked number 8 among the top 30 brands in the world. And I thought that I was being punked when I got the message, right? I mean, what? Like, ranked number 8 among the top 30 brand gurus in the world? 22,500 people voted, and I was ranked number 8. But here's the reason why. People saw me everywhere. I was dominating my market. So I picked out the sliver of the market that I wanted to dominate. And then I put together a strategy so that you saw me on LinkedIn, you saw me on Twitter, you saw me on almost all of the social media platforms. There was regular content going out. And I took content that was very relevant for my particular target and information that was compelling, inspiring, encouraging. And I created content and then actually created audio, video, and text-based content and then pushed it out on multiple platforms. So what we want to do is hang the content on platforms like YouTube, blogs, we want to hang text on blog and audio on podcasts and videos on YouTube. And then we want to use the other social media platforms to actually push out into the world this content that we got a chance to hang out on the internet. And so when you do that, you begin to dominate your particular, sliver of the market for your particular keywords that you most want to be known for, that are really addressing a problem that you are the best person to solve. So that's really how you dominate your market online.
Mm-hmm. Now, what are some of the trends that you're seeing now in online marketing? Because it's a lot different than it was, 10, 11 years ago when we first got started on Twitter. So what are some of the new things that you're seeing people do?
Oh, I am a geek at heart. I have a computer science degree and a math degree. So if it calculates beeps or processes, I probably own it. And so I'm always studying like what is trending, what tools and resources are companies using to really market themselves. And so I'm really excited to answer this question. What I'm seeing is from a online marketing perspective, people are using tools that differentiate and disrupt. Tools that differentiate and disrupt. So when you think about, let's just say, differentiation and disruption, proximity marketing is a concept that a lot of people haven't jumped on board with, but it's a very effective and very powerful tool that companies that are on the cutting edge are using to connect with their audience. So let me give you an example of how I've used this recently. I'm at a conference, 25,000 women in tech at a conference in Orlando. And so when you go to a conference, right, and you're trying to market, of the 25,000 women, how many people can we reach? Not that many if it's left up to me to meet them in the hallways or meet them in the workshop that I'm doing or whatever, right? And so when you use proximity marketing, you're able to push a notification to people's smartphones based on the proximity of where you are and where they are. So imagine being at a conference and being able to push a notification to offer a free copy of your report or resource to people. That changes the game in regards to how you can get connected with people at conferences or at events and things of that nature. So that's a trend. Another trend real quick is just teaching people to take advantage of micro marketing moments. And these micro marketing moments, if you think about it, people are using their smartphones to look up how to go somewhere, something that they want to do, something they want to buy, or something that they need to know. And when they're using their smartphone to find solutions, quick answers and solutions to problems, marketers have to learn to market in micro moments. And that's another trend that I'm seeing in online marketing. There are tons of other trends I could share, but those are two of the top ones that I'd like to talk about.
One of the things that I see most small business struggle with is a real differentiated value proposition. I recently attended a marketing conference, and the gentleman got up and he said, "And now hear this, can everybody please stop saying that they save people time and money? Can we all agree in this room to stop saying that? Because everybody says it to the point where it now means nothing, right?" And so what I really wanted to get your perspective on is, okay, if I'm not saving people time and money, what is it that I'm doing? How can I stake out a differentiated value proposition when these things that are actually true might be just becoming buzzwords everybody's using?
Absolutely. So one of the things we have to do first is we have to really understand our audience, right? Our audience, of course, everyone wants to save time and money, but they may have other needs that are really pressing for them. And if we could really get into the hearts and minds of our clients, our target audience, and understand what they need most, we're then able to create solutions and resources and answers that meet their specific needs. So if you, for example, I work with experts who are speakers, authors, coaches. I help them build a brand that differentiates them in the marketplace, right? And so one of the things that I do, that the reason people come to me is they know that they're going to get the latest technology, trends and resources and recommendations as they're building out their brand and as they're positioning themselves in the marketplace. For example, optimizing for voice search is something that we do with clients. If you think about Alexa and HomePod from Apple and Google, Siri and Google and Microsoft's tools and resources that they have as far as their video-enabled devices, people talk differently than they actually type. And so teaching my clients that they also need to optimize for voice and not just SEO is something that my competitors really aren't teaching experts. They may be teaching the big companies like Walmart and Microsoft, but when it comes to small businesses, when they go work with a branding or marketing strategist, they're not really hearing that. So one of the things that I've learned to use to differentiate me is that I stay on the cutting edge of trends as it relates to the use of technology to disrupt the market and to really show up more powerfully and to show up everywhere with my clients. And so because I understand that what my clients need, then I can actually create a differentiating a proposition to them, a value proposition that's very different than what my competitors are offering, because I understand them and I understand their needs. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. So I've got one more question for you. How often should you communicate with your market?
Oh my gosh, you're not going to like this because no one likes it when I say it, but it all depends. So let's break that down, right? It all depends.
I need you to see my face right now.
Right. That's not the answer I wanted. So let's take a look at let me give you a real clear answer. So would you like to hear from your financial advisor if you're a small business, right? Small business owner, would you like to hear from your financial advisor as often as you hear from your marketing coach? You would have an expectation of having interactions with them differently. So as a financial advisor, you want to be careful not to over communicate and always be in your client's inbox, because it could feel a little annoying and perhaps even a little creepy. But if you are a person's coach, they're expecting to hear from you often because they are looking to you for guidance, advice, and information on things that they have to make daily decisions about. You don't really have to make daily decisions oftentimes around your investments or retirement strategy. So it really does depend, and you have to understand your audience. But in general, if let's just say you are an expert, I want to encourage you to stay top of mind, because it used to be that you had to get in front of people 7 times in order for them to really notice you. Now that number is upwards of 21 times.
I have heard that. I have absolutely heard that number.
Yeah. So if you post, here's why a lot of businesses fail in their online marketing. They do a wimpy push. So they post on Twitter 2 times, or they push something out on LinkedIn and they think the world has seen it. No, I may not have been online at the moment that you push that. And because online marketing really is a stream, it's not an inbox like your email. If I get online at 9 p.m. and you posted something at 9 a.m., based on the number of people I'm connected to, I might not even see what you've posted. So being prolific is so important, but you do want to be mindful of the type of audience that you're serving.
All right, Lethia, I'm going to make that your last word on that. But listen, I appreciate you, and don't go anywhere, because right now what I'm about to do is call all 3 of my guests back. David Finkel, Nina Kaufman, and Lethia Owens. I want to bring you all back for a little panel that we call Hit It or Quit It. Now, here's how it works. I'm going to ask each of you the same question. You can only take 30 seconds to answer, and you cannot repeat each other's answer. So, Lethia, since you just finished talking, we're going to go to David first. We're going to wake David up first. And so, You be ready because we're going to go David, Nina, Lethia, and then we're going to switch it around. All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
All right. Now, so the very first question is going to come to you, David. What is your favorite business app? What is your favorite business app?
Yeah, by far it's an app called Voxer, Voxer. I use it with staff members. I'm an auditory delegator, so I go ahead and leave messages. I just make sure my staff knows they email me back because I read faster than I talk. I use it probably 20 to 30 times a day to hand off assignments and share information.
Wow. Okay, good stuff. Nina, what's your favorite business app?
I love Evernote because I can put in notes about everything, whether it's a password, whether it's an idea for a book or articles or ways to get back to people. All of it can be contained, and there's a search function as well. So super helpful. And you can bring people into it if you want to add it for a team.
Awesome. Awesome. Lethia, what's your favorite business app?
Being in marketing, of course, mine would be related to marketing, and it's called Buffer. It allows me on the fly, if I have great information I want to share across all of my social networks, I can upload an image, a video, text, or information, and I can push it out to all of my social networks just like that.
Love it, love it, love it. My favorite app is actually Dropbox. I would die without Dropbox because I can move from device to device and keep it moving thanks to Dropbox. So thank you guys at Dropbox. All right, now, Nina, I'm coming to you first for this one. What is your favorite old school marketing tip? What is your favorite old school marketing tip?
My favorite old school marketing tip is write thank you notes because nobody hand writes anymore. There used to be send out cards where you could pretend it's handwriting, or people writing a quick email like, hey, thanks, THX. There is something that stands out about a handwritten note that says, I really appreciated our time together. I appreciated your thoughtfulness and why, and actually signing your name to it. Maybe because I'm a contracts gal, you're signing your name to that gratitude.
I like it. I like it. All right, Lethia, what is your favorite old school marketing tip?
I would have to say old school would be faxing. I actually still have a fax. My on occasion, if I get, yes, I mean you're laughing, but you'd be surprised how you can get connected to some companies through their fax number, and so that would be my old school marketing strategy.
Interesting, interesting. All right, David, what's your favorite old school marketing tip?
Yeah, by far it's the telephone. I know it's annoying and not the robocall part, but actually having someone pick up the phone and make some outbound calls. You know, we have clients of ours that might have team members make 100 dials in a day, and it's painful, it's boring, and it still works, even though it's hard to get people to pick up the phone.
All right, all right. I'm ducking people like you. Okay, all right. Now, Lethia, I'm coming to you first this time. What is your favorite podcast?
Wow. My favorite podcast would be Craig Rochelle's podcast. He speaks on leadership and he is faith-based, and I love the strategies that he shares. I'm leading a team of over 23 people, and I use those strategies regularly in my business.
Awesome, awesome. Nina, what's your favorite podcast?
I would say, and he reminds me, I need to be on fire in order to inspire.
All right, good stuff. David, what's your favorite podcast?
TED Radio Hour. I just love the fact that it exposes me to ideas I wouldn't normally think about, and it does it in a real life. The author who wrote it was Clayton Christensen and actually several other co-authors. Phenomenal book to take a look at your business and your life together.
All right, love it, love it. Nina, what's your favorite business book?
Okay, well, I know what yours is, so I'll sort of save that one for you. Rob is like, oh, come on, ruin the surprise. But my theme is, no, I would say one of my favorites is actually called The Highest Calling by Larry Janeski. It's an inspirational novel, but there's about a business owner, but there's so much great business wisdom, and also, as I said before, the understanding that when you are creating a business, you are truly being a creator, and the spiritual and personal and emotional roller coaster that business owners go through as well. So that's where it's very affirming, but also really eye-opening and some great business wisdom too.
Yeah, I really like that book too. Lethia, what is your favorite business book?
Wow, my favorite all-time business book is a book by Dale Carnegie. It is old as dirt, but it is amazing. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it just reminds me that business is really about people, not just about products and profits. But at the core, if you understand people and if you take care of people and treat them right and meet their needs, then your business can thrive and grow.
I love it. I love it. Well, listen, thank you guys so much. David Finkel, Nina Kaufman, Lethia Owens. Thank you guys so much for being my guest on Small Biz Chat Live tonight. You know, the mission of Small Biz Chat is to end small business failure. And that is what we were doing tonight. I tell you, for me, I do this because I want you to win in business. And I want to leave you with this. Remember, you never lose in business. Either you win or you learn. God bless everybody. This is Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, and we are out.